I didn't have a lot of money with me at the time. I had like maybe like three racks, and I bought like 2 pounds, and that was it.
Okay.
I came back and flipped that shit, and man, till it came to like 4-digit numbers. Wow. At some point.
It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave. It's the Green Rush Nation podcast.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy B-Gunz here on the Green Rush Nation podcast. Today we have a very special guest. He's one of the leading pre-roll manufacturers, specialists in the game, one of the best around. This is Tony from Blackswan Distribution and Manufacturing. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, guys.
We appreciate you coming out. We hope the drive wasn't too hard for you. But obviously, you have a great product here. And you've been doing this for a long time, for what I've heard in the community. Just give us a little bit of a background on how you got into the cannabis industry.
Oh man, that goes way back.
Okay.
It goes living in California. I think at some point everybody was exposed to the industry and just like how everything even kind of came together. My very first exposure to it, and from that day on, it really was like stuck in my mind, and I kind of chased that dream throughout my life, and until I really got into it, until I really had the opportunity to get into it. But my very first experience was in 2002. I had a friend, he was a locksmith.
Okay.
And man, 2002, we're talking 20 something years,
yeah.
20 something years ago. And we were really young, and my friend, we both got kicked out of school, and he worked for his brother as a locksmith. His brother had a locksmith company. He worked for him, and he would go with his van and to service homes and cars and stuff like that. And so me and him, we was like really tight together. And as a matter of fact, he's my business partner now.
Okay.
My childhood friend.
There you go.
Gus knows him. That's Gus's childhood friend as well. Not childhood, but I think Gus. When you meet him, you met him like around, probably like 20 something years ago. But anyways,
yeah.
My childhood friend. So, he goes to a job, and this happens to be a dispensary that has been broken into, and the guy is reinforcing the locks and so forth. And so my homeboy calls me. He's like, bro, he goes, guess what, bro? Because I was in this fucking store and they're selling weed. And so a couple days later, he calls me, goes, bro, I went to another one. This shit is real. They're selling weed. This is a store that they're selling weed.
Yeah. So this is like around the time when they started selling weed in California? Like that was a new thing?
Well, 1996 is when the first Compassionate Act had passed.
Okay.
But I think, it took a while before they started opening up, because back then it was with the co-op and nonprofit and so forth. And
now let's just talk about that a little bit. How was those shops? Were those like legal shops, or those were just shops popping up selling?
No, those were the co-ops, man. That was people would open it up as a nonprofit, and they would sell weed, and they would call it, everything was by donation. There was nothing that was for sale, supposedly.
That's
everything
fucking smart.
was for donation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was how everything kind of started.
Okay.
And so, that just, is something that was, really impacted me. I was like, oh shit, and so we ended up, there was a guy that would sell weed. His name was Phil. And this was like the first kind of dispensary that I actually went to. So these stores were around, but we never had a chance to actually go in there and buy weed. At the time we were under 18.
Okay.
And so there was this guy, his name was Phil. And what he would do is he would sell basically weed from his garage. But it was like a dispensary vibe, what I'm saying? And then the only way you would get access to that if someone introduced you to him, and you would call him, and he would give you like a heads up, come through. You would go to the garage, you would pull up. It was somewhere in North Hollywood, bro.
So it was almost like you had to be verified to shop there.
Yeah, someone had to bring you in, and so you would kind of go into the garage, and he had like chairs. You would sit and wait for your turn to come. But in the meantime, you could take a bong rip, roll a joint, and he had on his table, he had 3 different kinds of weed.
Okay.
And at the time, we didn't know what the fuck it was, but now that I, look back, I know what it was. He had, that humble shit, and then he had, like something a little bit better than that, and then he had that indoor kush.
Okay.
To us, that was like something we'd never seen before.
Yeah.
we called it almost smelled like hunk. Hunk is this Armenian, it's a tree sap that they burn.
Okay.
Whenever you go to a grave or something, you burn that as like kind of like for the spirits or whatever. But anyways, it's almost smelled like that tree sap, so that's what we called it hunk. And that's how I kind of got introduced to weed, and so that was always in my mind, the weed in California and that. And in 2003, I got caught up in a lot of shit. I kept on getting in trouble since I was like 13 years old, and it all caught up on me. And in 2013, I turned 18, and I caught a really hot case. And they tried to wash me up. They gave me like 65 to life. And so I went on the run. And I lived in Armenia for about like almost 4 years.
Okay.
And within that time, when I was on the run in 2003, I think like 2004, 2005, I came back. I snuck in through Mexico, and my friends came and picked me up. Actually, Gus was there too. Okay. My friends came and they met us at Rosarito, and we had a blast. And the plan was, because I was a U.S. citizen, I had a passport. The plan was for all of us to go back. With 4 of us in the car, we all have passports, and and it actually worked. They didn't slide the passport. They didn't see that I was wanted.
Yep.
And we got back into the United States.
Beautiful.
And so we got back into Cali, and I was in LA for like about 10 months, and I worked my ass off, made some money. But in that time, the dispensaries were starting to really like come around. There was like like they were starting to pop up here and there.
Okay.
And I kept on telling everyone, let's get into this shit. This is the boom. This is it. But at the time, like most Armenians mentalities back in the days were drug dealers and things like that. Like they're not. It doesn't fall in their values. It's now that it's become like a regular thing.
Yeah.
And the generations have changed. But before, you sold any drugs or anything like that, it was really frowned upon.
Okay.
And so no one really wanted to get into the business in selling weed because they thought it was drugs. And so I kept on telling everyone, let's do this. No one wanted to do it. And again, I was in Cali for like 10 months in LA, and I started getting hot again. And so everybody's like, yo, you got to get the fuck out of here, bro. You fucking want it.
Yeah.
I had a fucking I had a warrant on me, man, for premeditated attempted murder, aggravated mayhem, like some crazy shit.
Sheesh.
So again, I took off. I went back to Mexico from TJ. At the time, I had made money, so I sent a brand new car to Armenia and everything, and I went back to Armenia. I went back to Armenia, and I was there for about 2 years, I think maybe 3 years. And my friend from LA, he's an older friend of mine. He had gone to Puerto Rico, and they had started like a medical business there, and he made a lot of money. He came with a couple $1 million and
off weed?
No,
medical weed, or
just regular
medical
weed, just regular medical.
Okay.
Medicare and all that. He came to Armenia buying properties, this, that, and he seen me in Armenia, and at the time that I was like on my 4th year in Armenia, and I had really adapted to the scene in Armenia, and I became like one of them.
Okay.
Because I stood up in the beginning, because I grew up in the United States.
Yep.
And so at the time when he came, I had just got stabbed in Armenia.
Sheesh.
I got into a little situation, and this club owner, his dad happened to be one of the ministers of the KGB, which is the equivalent of the FBI.
Okay.
And this guy was kind of confused. He didn't know if he was a gangster, if he was his cop, because he had his dad's power behind him.
They walk a thin line.
Yeah, and so we got into an argument in the club. It was over my friend, and I kind of got involved. I got in the middle of it, and I knocked this fool out. He had a knife, stabbed me, and cut, I think, like 11 of my intestines.
Jesus.
And the doctor said if I was like 3 minutes late, I would have had blood poisoning, because my stomach waste is getting into my blood.
Yeah.
And so I had that surgery. So when he came, he saw me like, I had the Lexus. I had just got stabbed and shit. He said, bro, I'm going to take you the fuck out of here. You stay here, you're going to get killed, or you're going to go to jail. Yeah. And so he convinced me to go to Puerto Rico with him. But, he flew over there, and he bought my tickets. We had this little scheme how to get into Puerto Rico, because it's a U.S. property of U.S. You can't just get there. You're still going through customs.
Of course.
So the plan was I went to Santo Domingo in Dominican Republic, and from there to take the ferry and go to Maya West, Puerto Rico, and get into Puerto Rico. But little did I know that even the ports are custom. You know what I'm saying? So I took, this trip, Europe, this, that. went to Santo Domingo, stayed there for a few days. So the whole trip took like 2 weeks, and I'm just exploring. I'm young, I don't give a shit. And I took the ferry, got to Puerto Rico, Maya West, and they held me up. And so they did all this background search and everything. I was like, that's it, I'm busted. And luckily, somehow, they came, asked me a few questions. Were you a citizen? Where you were, where you went to school, this, that. I answered, and they let me go. Go ahead. So I got into Puerto Rico, Maya West, and my homeboy came pick me up, still on the other side of the island. And so I lived in Puerto Rico. I ended up living in Puerto Rico for almost 7 years. But in that process, when I was in Puerto Rico, my friend had a wedding, my friend Art. And I think it was like 2007. I came to Puerto Rico. I came back to LA, flew back because now it's not customs, and you could just fly with your ID. There is no background check, no nothing. You're not passing through customs. So through Puerto Rico, I came back to LA, and did my friend's wedding. And again, I was like, yo, weed, got to get into this. Now there's more shops. I'm seeing this, and I'm like, yo, this is it. Like, let's get into this. And no one took me serious. Everybody had their own thing going. No one really wanted to hear it. And so I stayed for like 5 days a week. I came back, and in Puerto Rico, I didn't really ever get involved in drugs or in weed because one thing about Puerto Rico is that if you stick your nose into the wrong shit, it's just like the cartels in Mexico.
Of course, yeah, and it's just one small island.
Yeah,
too,
like
so you just know
bro,
where to go.
they are savage.
Of course.
Like, the gangs, and they don't have gangs. They have like caseríos, but the world in Puerto Rico is really crazy. But if you don't mess with that, they love you.
You're good to go.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They look at you like gringo. Anybody that's not from there is a gringo to them. And so we had a blast. And around 2009, my brother got caught up in a case, a murder case, and I wanted to protect him. There was a lot of things behind it, and it was self-defense. At the end of the day, it was just the wrong time, wrong place, and it was an accidental case. So I got when I saw it on the news and everything, I got really scared, man, and I helped my brother get to Puerto Rico to protect him. And so he came to Puerto Rico for a year and a half. They didn't know who he was. They around the case that was involved. Then the case gained a lot of traction, and it got a lot of publicity. And they made it out to be like, Armenians are all criminals, they're killers, they're mafia, all of this shit. And this was a assassination. My brother's young. He was like 21, 22 years old, somewhere around there. And the kid that. The person that he had got the argument with was young as well, so it gained a lot of news attention. Yeah. And so, anyways, long story short, they found him. They found someone snitched on him, and they found where he was, and they realized that he's with his brother, and his brother's been on the run for 10 years, and so they came after us, and literally kidnapped us from the island, the marshals.
Wow.
Literally, like, kidnapped us.
Yeah.
No, not even joking, bro. Like, from the street, AR-15s, you know what I'm saying? Like, pulled up on us and shit. And they kidnapped us at different times. Not at the same time, same, together, like, probably, like, 30 minutes apart. And so we got deported back, and we both came back, and I beat my main case that I had because so much time had passed.
The one that you're running from, yeah.
We came back, and we both got tried. I beat my case, and he got life. So I got 3 years with halftime, and I was, blessed with that shit, man. And so I did about like 18 months. I came home, and I was it, man. That journey in my life, that 10 years of my life, I wasn't running anymore, man. So, I came back 2012, I think September, like a few days after my birthday, I got out, and I had probation for a year. Home supervision probation. It was on parole. And so before all that, experiencing that shit, what I'm saying? Because at that time, I was already really, we had built so much. And when my brother came that year and a half, he was living in Puerto Rico, we just had, this plan of, okay, everything's going to be okay, and we're going to do all these things together, And so we started really hustling, opening up a store, this, that, and really heavily invested everything. That's it. This is what we're going to do until, we see what happens with his case and so forth. And so when that happened, I lost everything I had in Puerto Rico. And, now me and my brother were both fighting life, you know what I'm saying? And so that experience really was like tough on me, you know what I'm saying? And it was in a time where, it's like, you've been on the run for this long and it ends in that way, you know, and there's nobody out there like that's kind of looking out for us, you know what I'm saying? And my mom and dad, like both of their sons are locked up, so it was a very tough experience. And when I went in, the first thing that I thought to myself, you know, after just the shock and everything, I said, you know, when I come out, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hitting those fucking goals and everything that, you know, that is meant for me.
Yep.
And so I came out, that 1 year probation. I did so much in that 1 year. I would go to the law library, you know what I'm saying? Like, and my probation officer was like, yo, why the fuck you even on probation? Like, I got to get you the fuck off this shit.
Yeah.
I started a company called Small Claims Online, which was basically you could file your small claims online, you know what I'm saying? And so that 1 year I did all kinds of shit. As soon as I got off of probation, I had already kind of got comfortable because when I was in prison, I was working out. It was crazy. Like, I read so many books and shit.
Yeah.
And
That's
so-
good that I already know, just being around you a short period of time, how many books you say you read, and like,
Oh, man. a
knowledge
lot.
is power, bro.
That's always been my passion. So as soon as my probation was done, I went to weed. You know what I'm saying? And but let me back up a little bit prior to this. So when that happened to my brother, 2009, in end of 2009, it happened in November. End of 2009, it was like December around that time. We both decided that I'm gonna come back here and try to figure out what's going on, to situate things. You know what I'm saying? And see what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
You know? And so when I came again, I came back on the run. And now my brother's case, and like, you know, now the cops are all over, you know, looking for him, and they know I'm on the run. And so I was there for 10 months. I was in LA for 10 months. I was living in a hideout, you know, it's just crazy, always looking behind my back.
Sounds
But
like a lot.
in that 10 months, I met a few people. I met this girl. She became a really good friend of mine, and you know, we were together for a very short time. But in that time, like, we both had that hustle mentality. I got crazy into the weed thing. Like, you know, now.
What was your first venture in the weed?
So I got all these shops were being closed because there was that 2007 ordinance that passed in LA, and they tried to bring the shops to the original 100 and something licenses that had been passed. They were trying to grandfather those in. It was like a really crazy process. But these stores were getting closed, and I was able to buy their patient list, which is like every time someone came into the shop, they have to take their ID and, you know, and all
People
this.
don't
And so-
realize how valuable something like that could be.
Right, and so
building customers,
at the
yeah.
time, I was able to acquire like maybe 6,000-7,000
Wow.
names and patient lists.
That's beautiful.
That have a cannabis medical thing and their ID. So you have their address, you have their
And this was
phone
all
number.
medical at the time?
It's all medical.
Okay,
This is
still medical.
2009. We're talking about 2010, almost around that time, December, somewhere around that time.
Okay.
I was there for 10 months. So I came back December and stayed 10 months and went back, and then they came in and got us in Puerto Rico. So at that time, I wanted to start a delivery service. And so I really started getting into that. I had all these patient lists, and like I was really heavily getting into it. And now there was already a few of my friends that I already kind of, you know, saw the movement and everything. They were trying to get into it too. And so I had all these things, and I was shipping weed to Puerto Rico, you know, because now I have access to it, and
Yep.
that Mexican brick weed and shit.
There you go. The
And
Acapulco
so,
Gold.
yeah, so around it was like almost like 10 months, and my brother told me, he said, look, man, and he saw like I'm getting really deep into the shit over there and everything, and he said, bro, you know what, come back to Puerto Rico. I think everything's gonna be okay. They're not looking for me. They don't know who it is, and this and that. And again, we had acquired some money again, you know, I made some money. And so I said, all right, fuck it, then I'm going back. And, you know, we're getting into the, you know, just Puerto Rico and stores and so forth. We had a plan. So I went back, and, you know, cops came and got us. The fucking marshals came and got us.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I came out of prison, now back to what, you know, the story where I kind of left off.
Yep.
When I came out of prison and that probation finished, I was that's it. This is what I want to do. You know, I want to fuck with weed. Now
Foot
there
on
was
the
nothing
gas.
stopping me.
Yep.
And so my first kind of interaction with it was, I had friends in Puerto Rico, and now I have like this, you know, friends in like this network of people that I know, and I had people in Puerto Rico that were like family to me. You know what I'm saying? Like we had lived there for a very long time, and it was just different. So one of the people that I knew, you know, he was already sending weed from California to Puerto Rico, and so his name was Burro, and then his brother, his name Burro, and his brother's fuck, man, I forgot his brother's name. He later got killed, bro. His brother was a really dope dude. Anyways, I'll tell you. So, Burro came to LA, and we started shipping weed to Puerto Rico. And so we put together a pot. This is 2013 now I'm talking about. We had a pot like about $35,000, and this motherfucker just took that money and disappeared.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And his brother came back to LA, and his brother was like, he was a low, because Puerto Rico is a very unique place, man. The people in Puerto Rico are so amazing, bro, and like the culture and how they've been exposed to drugs and all this, you know, because that's the canal to the East Coast from all the Southern America, South America and shit. So he was doing his thing. He was not trying to put his business out there. You know, he's no longer with us, but he had experience in that, and so he was very like organized. His mindset was completely different than Burro. Burro was just a wild ass motherfucker. Yeah. And so he came back and he said, "Look, man, I think later I kind of figured they might have talked to each other. You know what I'm saying, and kind of planned that out. But he came and he told me, he said, "Look, man, I'll pay my brother's debt. You know what I'm saying, off, but let's work." Yeah. And so I rented a house, and we started fucking working. We started, now we're getting real big time, and he paid all of that money, and took care of that.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man, he was a really good dude, but later he got killed. I found out later he got killed. So, now we're doing, crazy like business now. We're sending shit over there. And I'm basically getting, like, I'm the connection here, getting all the bud from over here. And I have found a couple connections in Porter Valley, which is Central Cali, right there by Delano, Pixley, like that whole area.
Yeah, yep.
And so right there was a lot of like agriculture going on. So there was a lot of like immigrants and people that kind of migrated there, and they were working in the fields. Okay. And so there was a big like Mexican population there, and so they were all growing in greenhouses. That was the first light dep or outdoor whatever like that I kind of seen. And so in Puerto Rico, this weed was really popular because they had just transitioned from the Mexican brick weed into these greenhouse weeds.
So they got some better quality.
Yeah, and then they call it doble bolsa.
Okay.
And what doble bolsa is basically they take 2 1-gallon Ziplocs, and when you fill the weed in there, and it fills up both of those to the top, and so it's got to be fluffy. Yeah. The weed
not
that
so
we know.
Dense, yeah.
That's called the doble bolsa.
Okay.
And so the doble bolsa was cracking in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? So I had these connections in Porter Valley.
So that's all they wanted. Once they had it, they didn't want anything else.
Yeah, they didn't want anything else. So we were just moving some crazy shit from there. And so I met this dude in Porterville. He was a meth head, but he was a good dude. He was a white dude. Okay. He was always trying to do some hustle. We're going to do this, but his plans were wild, bro. Like, he would do some wild shit. Like, this dude would, like, he'd try to walk through the airport with, like, a bag of money. You know what I mean? Like, a suitcase of money, like, nothing happened. You know what I'm saying?
Some meth head shit. Yeah.
Some meth head shit, but this dude was crazy, right? So, he fucked up on some shit. He owed me money, and so he was always trying to make it up to me somehow, And so he calls me one day. So at this time, I'm just moving, like, a lot of weed with Burro's brother, Gordo. That was his name. Okay. With fucking Gordo. How the fuck can I even forget that shit, bro? So it came to a time where it was like there was like a transition in Puerto Rico because there's constantly a transition in the market, and so there was a lot more people now coming and buying weed from over here, and there was a price thing, and then a couple of runs it went bad, and and he was like, man, this is not working out, but in that time. This white dude that I'm telling you, he calls me one day and he's like, Tone, you got a car, get your car, and I'm going to tell you a place you're going to come over here. Where you at? Humble. He's in Mendocino. He's in Ukiah. Okay. So I say no more. You know what I mean? And I don't have a license. I haven't had a license for a long time. The license was taken away from me when I was like 16 years old for life.
Really?
Yeah.
Goddamn.
It's basically, there's one law in California, that's the only way they could take away your license for life, which is if you use your car as assault with a deadly weapon. And I ran over 2 people trying to, using it as a weapon, and so they took it away for life. So I didn't have a license. So when he called me, I said, man, fuck this shit. I'm taking this chance. Yeah. So I got in my car and I took off. I went up there. I went to Ukiah, and He was at this lady's house, and this older lady, like in her 50s, but she was like, they were doing coke and shit. You know, they were having. She was like one of those party people.
Yeah.
But in Ukiah, now it's completely changed. It's a whole different world now. But from the mid '90s all the way to, you know, like in the kind of like 2020, around that time, Ukiah has always been a hub. Mendocino has always been a hub. It's the gates of the Emerald Triangle. That's what they
Okay.
call it. Just, you know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot of weed in that area. And so people there are all hustlers. They all been in the weed game and made crazy money in the weed game. This is your traditional, you know, legacy that you hear about. This is what it is. Not all
Okay.
these new motherfuckers that, you know what I'm saying, are fucking with weed now. So she had all the plugs, all the Mexican growers and this
I was
and
gonna
that.
say, so she probably wasn't just a normal lady in her
No,
50s partying
no,
and
no,
doing
no.
coke. Yeah.
She just was a hustler.
Yeah.
They would run through money like crazy, but you know they would lose it, get robbed like crazy. That's just the life of, you know, these out of control people. Some out of control.
Hearing
people,
about
right?
that shit too. Me coming from the East Coast, I used to hear about like grows getting robbed by like foreigners. You know, foreign entities would come to fucking rob.
Yeah, but
these
not in
people.
these towns, bro.
Okay.
In these towns, they'll cut your head off. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Gotcha.
it's like a town of 10,000 people, and you have like, you know, it's dominated by Mexicans,
Okay.
100%. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And that's all the northern Mexicans that kind of migrated up there and worked in the fields and bought their own properties, homes, and now, you know, they're growing all this shit.
Living the American
Yeah,
dream.
and they call that's what they call the cartel growers, this and that. Maybe some are connected, you know, but
Who knows?
that's just, you know, that's what they would call those growers. So
Yeah.
she knew all the plugs.
Okay.
And so I had took whatever money I had with me, whatever I could gather, you know what I'm saying? I went up there, and I didn't have a lot of money with me at the time. I had like maybe like three racks, and I bought like 2 pounds, and that was it.
Okay.
I came back and flipped that shit, and man, till it came to like, you know, 4-digit numbers at some point.
Gotta love it.
But yeah, so through her, I just was getting a lot of weed, and we were going, you know, I was taking it to LA. At first, I was selling it to all the shops. Well, I had like a big old fucking, you know, those olive barrels where you could, you know, they
Yep.
put olives in there, like
Absolutely.
really big ones, the blue ones and shit.
Yep.
I had one of those, and I always have like 10, 20 pounds. I'd come to the shops, get rid of them, and I'd make that $400, $400, $500 sometimes if you were lucky, because that was some bomb ass weed, bro, at that time.
Yeah.
And so I started making a lot of money there through that. I had a friend. I gave him a math. I said, if we could flip like this numbers, this, we end up with this amount. You know what I
Yep,
mean? And we
yep.
did it, and we ended up with like 60 racks or some shit. And,
Beautiful.
and he told me, bro, you know, can I take my part? And I want to do something else. You know what I mean? I said, man, you were a fucking idiot. You know, our plan was, you know, it was in the hundreds of thousands, but he kind of took off from like,
Didn't see it fully through.
yeah, like quarter of the way.
People get impatient, and that happens in business a lot. You know.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So I stayed in Ukiah and just really, excuse me, so just really got deep into it.
Okay.
And within like about a year, I was not even, maybe like 10 months, somewhere around there. I had, through this time already, I had connected with a lot of my friends from Puerto Rico. And there was one guy, my homeboy Chris. He's the man. He's in the music industry, in the reggaeton music industry, and he's killing it right now. He's
Dope.
you know,
I'm gonna have
real
to talk to
hustler.
him.
So he was my neighbor over there at the time when we were living in Puerto Rico. He was on the run too, and I didn't know. He was there managing a couple artists, making his money, but he was on the run of like there was a drug.
Is that a
case.
hot spot for people that go on the run? They go to Puerto Rico.
I don't think now, but
Used to
back
be?
in the day, yeah, he was Puerto Rican, so you know, went back to his home,
Yep.
and where he can make money. And so when we would hang out all the time, he would tell me, you know, you don't know, bro, and I would tell him, you don't fucking know, you know who I am, this and that,
Yeah.
and then I got arrested, and then later, you know, they caught him, but he did his time, came out, and I came out, and so I connected with him in New York. He was back in New York because now, you know, he was not on the run.
Yep.
And so he got out and did his hustle, got into the music game again, booking and, you know, and managing artists, and reggaeton at the time was, you know, almost about to blow up.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
getting to not even close to where it's at now, but it
Yep.
was in the, you know, in the beginning stages. So he told me, yo, come see me, come visit me. So I bought a ticket, flew to New York, and we just clicked, man. You know what I'm saying? We were neighbors in Puerto Rico. Then I later got a house, an apartment right in front of his house, his door.
Okay.
And so we were neighbors in New York.
Nice. What part of
And-
New York?
And so I lived in Yonkers. Later on, I lived in Bronxville.
Okay.
So my stomping grounds were like Washington Heights.
I'm familiar with
You
it.
know what I'm saying? West side of Harlem, 141st and Broadway.
Okay.
So
That's
you know,
funny. My
yeah.
mom fucking lives right over by like 231st and Broadway. So that's like fucking not
So you
Harlem,
know
but
the
it's in the
area.
Bronx. Yeah,
So
oh
you
yeah,
know
for
the
sure.
area. So anyways,
sure.
I want to name drop, people and this and that, but I met a real cool dude. That was Chris's homeboy, and he came, and we just started really getting heavy into the shit. You know what I mean? And so now, instead of moving it in L.A., I had a place that it was going, and so
And shit.
yeah.
I know for a fact that just going from LA to New York, those pounds like
So
double,
this is
triple in price.
2000, end of 2013, 2014 almost,
Okay.
and that was a very quick rise because now the game was changed. From we from here to New York was like $1,000, thousand
Yeah.
300,
Yeah.
and that was like dead.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yep.
Not even. You didn't have to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you didn't have to say shit. You would the plug and there was a different type of environment. Like people, you would build with people. There was loyalty. There was still at that time some loyalty.
Of course.
And so that was it, man. And we just fucking grew. Really, made a lot of money, and that's like now we're talking like 4 years past.
Okay.
Within that time, I moved to Ukiah, and I ended up buying a house in Ukiah, and that was my home. I was staying over there. I'd come. It was like here, New York, L.A., but most of the time was there and here, and then New York.
Okay.
And rarely I would come to L.A. And in so in 2018, it was a crazy experience, man. We did so much shit. Like there was so much money. Like there was so much fucking
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
And then being in Ukiah full time, it allowed me just to focus on that. It was
No
amazing.
distractions.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, in around 2018, I'm coming back from New York and I get caught up. All these things I really don't give a fuck, because it's like I passed it. I'm way past all
Done,
that,
yeah.
and I did my time with it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
I don't really give a fuck. They I had some cash on in the car allegedly. It wasn't my cash allegedly. Um, so I got caught and I fucking lost a lot of cash, and I recovered from it. And something happened to my brother. He was at the wrong place and he got caught up with some shit. And this is like end of 2019 now, and so within this time, around 2017, when the program came to get into the white market, basically
Go legal.
So California, 2018 they passed, but before they passed, they had a whole program where they could take the ecosystem and the culture that already existed because there was a huge infrastructure already. There's so many people growing weed, and so they didn't want to just kill that. They couldn't.
Yeah.
They wanted to get all those people to transition into
Do it correctly.
into doing it correctly.
Yeah.
And so before you would get like a medical doctor's recommendation, and you could grow up to 99 plants. And that's what everybody was kind of using. They would have like 4 or 5 of them and think that they could grow, 1,000 pounds
Yeah.
right now in this one place.
Yep, yep.
And they were getting away with it because there was so much people, and that ecosystem was crazy.
Interesting.
Like we're talking like that area.
And what
bro,
you said this was like 2017?
this is like 2017. That area, bro, is the real kind of like history. The Emerald Triangle, bro. That's where it all started from, bro. I really think, because the law passed in Santa Cruz in 1996, the Compassion Act, the Prop 215 Compassion Act.
Yeah.
And but the culture had been there from the hippies and from that era. It was from the
already
60s we're
existed.
talking. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just to kind of back up a little bit, in the 60s when all of the Vietnam War, the 70s, 60s, around that time, all the Vietnam War, and there was all those hippies and shit. And so when all that shit got killed, like that whole kind of like lifestyle and that era, everybody kind of fled to these mountains, and the hippies went there and lived their hippie life. They
Yeah.
didn't change, and so they had all these generation, their kids, and now we're talking an area where that Northern California area is huge, bro. It's a big, large amount of area, and so a lot of weed would come from there. And so I kind of lost my chain of thought. So, yeah, okay, so yeah. So they, the state law, they tried to convert these people instead of going against them. And so the whole thing was, the way the program was in 2017, they allowed people, if you could show proof that you cultivated before 2000, I think 15, you could get into the program.
Okay.
And now if your property zoning and all of that matches, now you could get an actual license.
Nice.
And so you would check if your zoning and everything was good, you were applying for the license. And so now I'm backing up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So in 2017, I bought my pops out there. Or end of, I think like end of 2016, beginning of 2017. I bought my pops out there and I bought that house. And so when he was out there, our plan was we were going to grow.
Okay.
And so when he came, I had, I'm kind of being young and, you know what I'm saying, not giving a shit. I had bought this most kind of loud house there was in that area.
Okay.
Right in front of the lake, on top of a mountain, like vineyard, gated community, you know what I'm saying, a property.
Yeah.
And I was the only house in the front that was going to grow, you know what I'm saying, like that's growing. And so gated community, you know what I mean? And that place, there's like 2 communities that are like gated communities.
Okay.
So we put a greenhouse right there in the front, and we were growing it. And our neighbors, I guess one of the neighbors, it's like 10 houses there, like they're like 8-acre properties. One of them had a buddy in planning building called the planning building on us. So he came and he said, hey, you can't do this, and we're going to give you a fine. I said, look, I got a medical fucking card.
Yeah.
This is 2017. And he said, man, that shit don't pass. It's a law now. You have to have permits and so,
Wow.
and so forth. I said, listen, give me time, because this is new you're talking. You have to give me, you guys have to, They said, yeah, okay, you got 14 days. And they gave us a paper in 14 days to get the permit. So I went to the county building and really figured out how the hell to get this license.
Yeah.
But this is like brand new, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody is trying to go into this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the county is learning from everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And the county is making the laws.
You're the
bro.
guinea pig.
So you're in that process, bro, because this is a huge process that takes before it gets really perfected, the law, and they realize, okay, this law works.
Yep.
And the way it is, they'll pass something, and then they'll have community meetings in the town hall or whatever that area is called. Whatever it is called, I think it's the city hall or some shit. And all the board supervisors and everybody's there, and all the people, the community comes and they say what is affecting them, what's not working, this, that, and from there they make modifications on the law.
Okay.
And ordinances, and they change all kinds of shit around. And so I went through that process, but the thing was like really the way to grow was really easy. All you had to do is show a couple proof receipts of soil or something you bought, and they were looking at Google images. And so when I got that property, the owner, which were these 2 people, like one of the most amazing people to me, bro. Like in my life, they were very influential. And that one thing that they did for me, they allowed me to buy that home and really believed in me and shit.
That's great.
And so he had actually cultivated there. So there was some satellite images that, there was some round shit. You could see it.
Like
and so, yeah, they
cultivation,
gave it to us. So when I went to the county and found out what the laws were, got into it, I applied for it. And we went through the process, and I got the licenses. And so I came back, and these motherfuckers came back, and they saw I have the shit. I said, shit, man, we got to put a gate here, close this shit off now, because we had to just open, bro.
Compliance.
Yeah, like we had to just open. You would get into the gated community, you would go up, going to your community, and the first thing you would see is like a vineyard, and then boom, there's greenhouse. And so all these $1 million homes, they didn't want that shit. But now we closed that shit and we started building. And till this day, I have that house, and we got a fully annual license now. Then we got grandfathered in because that zoning got canceled, but they grandfathered us in. My pop still lives there, grows, and that's...
Shit, I would love to do something like this up there. That would be fucking, if you're willing to.
This is where the story kind of is going, right? So, anyways, I lost my chain of thoughts. But, okay, so... we started not growing and shit, and I'm in New York and everything. Now it's 2018, the law passed, and in 2019 all that shit happened. And around that time, within that 18 to 19, before 20, one of my plugs' brother that I would buy a lot of shit from, he saw what I was doing. So at the time when that 2017 that happened, I would go around telling everybody, yo, the white market, this shit's gonna be crazy. Let's get into it. Now we could do it legally. Because I was seeing what was happening, boy. Yeah. Like my vision's always been like 5-10 years ahead always. I don't know,
Ahead of
for
your
some
time?
reason, yeah, that's just how my mind's always worked. And so I was telling everyone thought I was crazy. And, black market forever, this, that, like they really were not trying to see that happen because everybody had their ways. They were making crazy money in that area. Like people were millionaires, bro. People have cash, buried in places they probably even forgot. Did so much coke, forgot.
I believe
It's insane how much money was there.
Yeah.
You just can't imagine. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? We're talking millions and pounds came from that place, bro.
And it
Like,
had to be in
annually.
cash, too.
Listen, at some point, this is facts. Maybe I don't know exact dates. I can't tell you, but around time, like from maybe the mid '80s all the way to like maybe late '80s. Ever since the hippies, that generation kind of got so big, where the cultivations they were doing actually impacted. Like what I'm saying, like they were flooding it. And at some point from that time all the way to like 2000, maybe 15, 16, probably like 65 to 75, maybe even more, up to like 80% of the weed that was being supplied to the whole United States came from the Emerald Triangle.
Wow.
I think honestly more, bro. Probably like in the 80s.
I believe it.
Percent.
I believe it.
And
Everyone loved to brag about getting their shit from Cali.
that was a dream. If you
Yep.
could get your, especially you go up there, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yep.
the dream. So he told me, listen, bro, I got the property. You got a vision, man, and you see what's happening. How can we get this license? I got the property. Let's go 50-50. Let's do it. Him and his crazy ass wife, bro. I never forget him, bro. They did me dirty too. You know, what I mean, there's always been like some characters in my life that did me dirty, and it made me change a lot of things in my life. And
Trajectory,
yeah,
yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Change the trajectory.
It happens when you're a good person too, though. People think they can take advantage. They take your kindness
think
for
so,
weakness, and then
definitely.
that's it. You just got to keep and move on because shit's gonna happen, and you will find those right people that aren't gonna take advantage of you, and you guys just go to the moon.
100%,
You know?
bro. 100%.
Yep.
So we built the shit. I got all the licenses. And as soon as I got all the licenses, now again, look, this is 2018 we're talking. It's been 1 year since this law has passed. And all these people are either converting, the counties are trying to build these systems to get these people to convert, you know what I'm saying? Because they're all trying to be in the black market.
Yep.
So we, he looked and he's like, damn, I guess he figured like, fuck, the shit's under my name. I got, I got the property. And so at that time was the time that I got caught with some money in Nebraska in the car. And so later I did time for that or whatever, but it was around that time, and so we're growing our first harvest. My pops is helping out. Now my pops is over there, but it's a really weird atmosphere. It's just not, it's very uncomfortable, because
Okay.
they were like very antisocial couple, you know what I'm saying? The wife was a little crazy.
Yeah.
And the husband like really was just like he was a hustler. He was just like a worker, farm worker. You know what I'm saying? They were just a very antisocial people. So we started bumping heads because they try to get rid of me. They're like, we don't fucking need him.
Yeah.
We're cultivating. You know what I'm saying? And property's on our name. We have licenses. And at the time, the plan was I was going to sell the bud. We were going to grow it, and I was going to sell it. And again, we're not even talking about stores because there's no even plan how they're going to sell it to the stores and everything. They're still putting that together, the metric and all this other shit.
Yep.
So they kind of left it on people's, I guess like, good deed or something that they would actually follow through and then try to do it by law. There's no metric. You know what I'm saying? There's no way to track this shit. So I guess I wasn't able to sell the weed like how we planned. It took me a little bit longer, and because I had got that whole situation. I wasn't going to New York, this and that, and they just figured, man, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like the second run we were going to do, they started acting up. And I had already put a lot of money, bro, because I went through my way, bro, just the way I said I would do, And the plan was to make that place into like a bud tasting facility, like a huge, like a vineyard kind of place where people could come and see the place and, drink, try, weed or whatever. And I'm already thinking there's like a 40-acre property, how to build, where we could build this unit. But their plan is completely different. They're trying to get rid of me. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to figure out how the fuck they could get rid of me.
Yep.
So when I kind of realized that, I got all my stuff. I got, we split the bud. There was a whole bunch of shit I left to him, so I came out clear with him. You know what I'm saying? I left him probably all the trim and the last run they were gonna do. They were gonna go until December. That was that run. It doesn't produce a lot. You know what I'm saying? But it produces enough to make some good money.
Whatever it is.
And still, this is the time where weed is still expensive. It's still like $1,600, $1,700. You know what I'm saying? You can still make $1,000 on it real easy.
Absolutely.
In fact, this is one of the best times.
Okay.
So now when this happened, and then after my brother's situation, I said, fuck it. I got all the licenses. I got, this is like, I live in the most beautiful fucking place. I'm saying? Like, the most amazing opportunities are going to come from here in cannabis.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck am I chasing, trying to go over there and continue something? Obviously, like, I already took, these huge losses. And everybody started switching on me over there, you know what I'm saying? Because now we're making money. We're making a lot of money, and I'm investing my money the right way, and they're fucking it off. You know what I'm saying? They're making stupid moves, and they got ego problems. Like, New York people are a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? You're from the East Coast.
I'm from New York.
Yeah, you know what's up. You know what I'm saying? You're from there,
Yep.
and not to put them down or anything, bro. I mean, I got brothers over there, bro, and I love New York, bro.
Yeah.
I lived in New York. That's like my second home.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? But they have a different way we move. Like
For
California, LA, specifically New York is completely different.
Yeah.
People from LA, the gang culture, and everything that's built, the culture here is very different than over there.
Of course.
So, I said, and my homeboy, my childhood friend, that's my partner now, he kind of saw what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? He had came to New York, seen me and this and that. He said, bro, I see your vision, because I had got that bad deal with that white boy, and now I'm looking for another property of my own, because I could get the licenses. Yeah. I knew exactly what to
How
do.
To do it, yeah.
We're talking something really simple about a license now. You go lawyers, this, that, but back then it was a simple thing. But because it didn't exist, you had just
not a lot of people.
All you had to do was just really put your time in, and really see what it is, and you would figure it out. That's all I did, So my homeboy came and invested with me.
Okay.
He said, "Get the property and let's do it." So we started looking for property. We couldn't find nothing, because it was like at this time now everybody's trying to get into this over there. Like it's legal, yeah. So people are coming like that have money, or they've had businesses. They're taking that money from their business. They're coming and try to get the farm and shit and grow in Emerald Triangle. You know what I'm saying? So we bought a property later, which is the property right now. We paid over like $50,000 over. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say the exact number, but it's like $1 million something.
Okay.
We lost a lot of property value now, just as far as the property. But back then, everybody was trying to get it, so they would have bidding wars. And so we paid $50,000 over and got it. But the vision was to make, this bud tasting facility. And it's amazing if you think about the concept, you know what I'm saying? Have you ever been to a vineyard?
I have.
When you go to a vineyard, it's like there's that, the little house or whatever where they, you taste the wine and all that, and then you look and it's all, it's all fucking like, grape trees.
Yeah, down the road.
Like whole
grapevines.
Grapevines, yeah. And so think about that in weed. Greenhouses and, all this weed that's being produced, tried, and all the stuff that's happening, and then you
personally,
go there and taste
weed
it.
come true to me. Dream come true to me.
Yeah,
See all that
so
weed like that,
So that was my vision, and remember that this is like an hour north of Napa Valley, and Napa Valley is the number one wine country in the nation. So that was the vision. We got the property, and that shit took until now. We're getting the license, and I'm like this close. Now I'm on the state. We're about to get it, and
for consumption,
for its cultivation. But we're talking acres.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So anyways, now let's back up. In 2020, before I got this property, I prior even more back, right? We're talking like now 2016. I had so much weed at some point, hash and all this other shit. We would make joints because I still had that house that me and Gordo had, and I had a whole bunch of people just working there. Like we would just do all kinds of shit there, right? So I would make these joints, and then this girl that I knew that later had taken me to Humble, from Mendocino to Humble. Shout out to her. She's a real good person, Melina, and she told me, why don't you call it chupacabra? Because I think she was like half Puerto Rican or something, and we would talk about it. And I told her, I made these joints. Like I put wax on that shit. It was hash inside, wax on top of it, dipped in keys. It was crazy ass joints where you would smoke it, and like little flames would drop.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Exactly
it was a chupacabra.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she said, why don't you call it chupacabra? So this is the first time I've ever done manufacturing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the idea came to me. this is 2016, 15 we're talking, so no one's really doing that shit. No one's trying to sell joints and shit like that.
Yep.
And so we put a sticker on it, and I was selling that shit, over there. And
Chupacabra, I would have bought that
Chupacabra. So this is my first time that I manufactured something. And then when me and that wiper were having those issues, I was constantly thinking what to do with this. And then branding was the first thing that I would see. Like, how the fuck do you take this into the market? You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, you have all those dispensaries, but they're all fucking selling, like just whack-ass joints, handmade joints that they made, their staff
Most
made.
of the joints I would experience getting from a dispensary.
Bag of weed.
Bullshit. Yeah, it was
bag
bullshit.
Of weed, you know what I'm saying? And a bag of weed. So I was thinking, how to brand this shit, how to really get into this shit. And at the time, there was, I think, like 2 brands that really stuck out, that I was really kind of inspired by as well, you could say. I give everybody their props, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta give their flowers.
I'm the type of person, that I don't got to bullshit. They're always really inspired by that. And so their branding and the way they did it, and the 2 brands were Packwoods.
Okay, I fuck with Packwoods.
Yeah, now they call it Pax. And Loaded.
Loaded.
And now Loaded doesn't exist now anymore, but
Okay.
they broke up. All partners and everything broke up. And I think the name is still out there, but they're not really doing shit with it.
Yeah.
So I decided this is what I'm going to do at around that time. And when we had broken from, that partnership, I said, I'm going to start making joints.
Okay.
Because that's what I saw, like, that was going to be the biggest seller. Like, what's the most convenient way you could smoke it?
It's pre-rolls.
Pre-rolls.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And look at the cigarette industry and so forth. So I started making it in my garage. I started back to the,
And
the
those were
old
just
days.
regular pre-rolls at the
These are
time?
regular pre-rolls.
pre-rolls.
I thought the name and everything would be cool, so I named it the Chupacabra. I bought the Chupacabra back. Got some graphics done, labeled this, that. I started making the Chupacabra and added a whole bunch more, just randomly. Neptunes, we did one Neptune, Stardust, and I got really creative with it, like every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we put this golden cap on it that nobody does that, where you could turn off the weed and then smoke it later.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I started doing, we're in my garage, and COVID hit. And so COVID hit, and like my whole family came over there, my mom, my dad, my brother, and we stayed up in Ukiah for like 8 months. Me and my family and the dogs.
I'm sure that was a great place to be during COVID.
Oh man, it's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
And when you see where I'm talking about, you be like, damn. And so we're all staying up there, and my brother was going through that case that he got caught up with and everything. And I told him, listen, man, this is what the fuck the next move is, because my little brother, he's a shout out to my brother, man. He's a different type of character. You know what I mean? The biggest heart in the world. Mm-hmm. So I told him this is the next move. We're gonna start manufacturing. We're gonna start making pre-rolls and just let the shit roll. Let's see where it goes. And so during that COVID times, 2020, I started just manufacturing the shit out of joints and just get really creative. I literally bought every roller there is through Amazon, China, and everything. Every way, everything there was. And so we really started getting into it and figuring it out.
So when you bought all those, obviously, I'm assuming you were going through like a trial and error period where you would roll them, smoke them, see how they smoked and all that.
Yeah, not even that, just the crafting.
Just how they looked and how they came together?
Yeah, and then obviously if they're smoking or not.
Okay. So that must have been fun during COVID, something to do,
Yeah, for sure, bro. And I don't know, bro, the names and everything, how they came to me just randomly, bro. Like I was in my spirit of just making shit. I had another brand called Loco, which was going to be the blunt. Because I kind of just separated with how I'm going to do it. It's going to be joints, blunts, that's what it is. And so Loaded, I was inspired by the joint stuff, and Packwood was with the blunt stuff.
Yep.
And so we started getting really creative. Me and my brother, we had a couple workers that would come to the garage, and we'd get crazy. So I think a year and a half, 2 years into COVID, we had all these Argentinians that would come there to trim at our garage.
Okay.
And we had a whole fucking table, and I have videos of this shit, bro. And everyone's like, manufacturing shit, bro. They're making these joints. But okay, so let me back up a little bit more, man. So I got inspired by some stuff that I saw, music video and shit like that, and that's how my brand Go Loco came. I had the brand Loco, and then later I added the Go Loco to it when I saw the music video Go Loco.
I was about to say, once you said that, yeah, I could see that video in my head right
mine's was like mine's is with the C, not the K. You know what I'm saying? Real Loco, how Real Loco is spelled.
Loco, yeah.
Yeah, because YG, shout out to YG. And later it's crazy because me and his brother met, and then we did a lot of stuff together. We tried to do the 400 line, and we did some collabs. I'll tell you that later. But anyways, he loved it. It's crazy, man. That that you took that you heard that, and you took that and made it into a brand.
Absolutely. And now is that one of your brands you got right here?
Yeah, that's damn. I don't have the original Blanco Locos over here. I think it's in one of the box, but these are the minis.
Okay.
And then the original Go Loco. And so I did the sombrero, all that, and just really got creative with it. And then
I like it, yeah.
Yeah, and then Lucky 13 just came to me. You know what I'm saying? Like 13 has been like a special number in my life in many ways. Just a number that a lot of things happen. You know what I'm saying? People are born at that time, like things happen to me in that time. So Lucky 13 came to mind. And I just I named it Lucky 13, and later when I got into the trademarks and everything, I saw opportunities in different categories, and I started trademarking as much as I could because it's a popular name.
Yeah.
But mine's is spelled out 13. It's not the number 13, and then I was able to really get into the whole trademark thing and get the trademark.
Now is Los Angeles part of the trademark?
I added. It's actually Lucky 13 Los Angeles.
Dope.
That's exactly how it is, the trademark. But every year or every time I get more creative with understanding the trademarking. That's a really important part of branding as well.
100%.
You gotta really protect your shit
and that comes to everything. It doesn't just come to like cannabis. Trademarking can make or break you. If someone comes and they own your trademark, you're screwed.
There's a lot of brands right now that went through that shit and they had to change their name. Like Packwoods changed it to Pax. I think Zittles.
Yeah.
Terp Hogs and them, and they had to, I think like Skittles or some shit sued them. And
this shit is so important. Listen to this. I don't know if you're familiar with like Sierra Mist. Have you ever heard of Sierra Mist? So Sierra Mist, their name was up like for you only own your trademark for X amount of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you gotta protect it every time, and then it doesn't go away. You don't lose it.
So I don't know if you've seen, but Sierra Mist doesn't really exist anymore because their trademark was up. And there was this influencer named Sierra Mist who started using the name Sierra Mist, looked into it, because Pepsi hit her up and was like, hey, you can't use that name. And she's like, really? Can I not? Let me look into it. So she looked into it. Little did they know their trademark was up. So she bought the trademark.
Yeah.
And then called Pepsi and was like, hey, you can't use that name. And they're like, what do you mean? She's like, I own Sierra Mist now.
That's very smart.
So they changed it to Starry. I don't know if you've seen Starry now.
I don't know, but I could see that happening because I understand how that is. I've been doing this shit for like, since 2020 when I started the brand. Since then, I've been like,
so you get it.
Yeah, so I get it.
That was the biggest case
that's actually the only time that you could get something, buy something, when basically the person that's holding it doesn't renew it.
If the window's up,
they don't renew it. You know what I'm saying? And they have like a 30-day, a 90-day, and then after that they have like a 3-month probation, and then after that they're giving it away.
Anyone can buy it.
Get it. That's kind of how.
And that's what she did.
That's one of the ways I won some of the categories and got some of the categories trademarked.
Yeah. So I'm familiar with this, but like it's crazy shit, man. It's important, very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro, definitely. Anybody that would that is starting a brand, I would say that's important. But the thing is that it's very complicated. You know what I'm saying? Like trademarking.
Yeah.
It's like you don't always need to. You know what I'm saying? And like, this is kind of like something maybe off of the story that I'm saying, like off topic in a way. But I think that you have to be very like open to, if you need to change the shit real quick.
Absolutely.
Because it's not the name that's gonna be it. It's million to one or billion to one, maybe one by luck by name or some shit. That would happen nowadays with all the social media and technology. But that's not it.
No.
It's your product. It's the way you do marketing. It's the way you do business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If you have a bad product, you have a bad product at the end of the day. If you have a good product, you have a good product.
It's not the name, but if what you're doing, the concept and the name fits, you know what I'm saying, you got to go, if that's it, you got to go hard on it and get all the protection you could.
100%.
I learned that because I had this one brand called Khalifa Connect, and I did the logo with like a double C, like crisscrossed, you know what I'm saying, with a crown.
Yep.
And I kind of read this somewhere, and I kind of just used their their like thing instructions on how to get a good logo.
Okay.
And it came out to this logo with double C's crossed with a crown, and so Chanel sued me when I tried to trade. If I didn't trademark it, I could have made merch, sold that shit. No one would give a shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like I could have done all kinds of shit, but I trademarked it, and I had to go to the trademark office, and over there is where like that's the gladiator school. You know what I'm saying? That's the Coliseum. All the trademarks are there waiting for who the fuck is coming in. We're gonna attack them as a trademark infringement. And so my shit fell over there with the double C, and Chanel was like, you know, they had their lawyers on that shit, just killed it, bro. Like they literally got a fucking warrant and fucking shut my website down just because I didn't reply for like probably like 6 months. I was like, what do I do? My lawyer was like, yo, this is Chanel. What the fuck you gonna do? You know? Leave that dumbass shit you got and move forward, you know? So I kind of left it, and within 6 months, like, taxes, closed down the shit. So yeah, trademark is you just gotta understand like when to spend your money on it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
And that's what it is. You just gotta your vision and the plan of having a product and really producing something that people need is the most important thing.
Yeah.
The name is just it catches on to it, and it is the name. Then that becomes the brand.
Of course.
So
of course.
Yeah, it's important shit, bro.
Definitely.
With trademarking.
I think that's game right there, bro. You just put people on some game.
Yeah, but
trademark is definitely important.
100%. But to continue the story, and then from Ukiah, we when I try to really take it to, we got really good with the making the pre-rolls and shit.
Okay.
And whenever I would try to kind of produce the shit, I would have to go rent someone's manufacturing or whatever, and like everybody was trying to take, like I realized like everybody was like, on some scheme shit, trying to figure out the SOPs, how the fuck you made this nice joint, you know what I'm saying? Because we so kind of to back up a little bit, when me and my brother really got into it, with all those things that I kind of all those rollers and everything that we got, I kind of figured out how to make something, and I met some person that helped me with that, this old guy. I don't want to give his name out, but he knows who he is, and so definitely if he hears it, he knows who he is. But we made this device that's what I use now.
Okay.
To do my rolling.
Now is that trademarked?
It's not really.
I'm just fucking.
Listen, this becomes like patent trademark, right?
Yeah.
So, I did everything I could to protect it, but it's so broad that you just can't.
It's hard. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, anyway, so, but we started creating this shit, and then the unique thing is the way we roll, which that spiral twist.
You were telling me about that, when I met you. So it burns nice and smoothly?
Well, yeah, like if you look at cigars, they're all built that way. You know what I'm saying? They're rolled this way.
Spiral.
And you could do that with a blunt. It's easy to roll it, but you can't do that with paper. It's very difficult to roll that shit.
Definitely.
So, so we kind of, that was our thing, and so I was having a hard time finding a place or somewhere I could do it and actually sell the shit, because now I needed the fucking licenses to get into the white market.
Stores, yep.
It's all in garage shit, and I'm just kind of like moving it to people I know, just putting it out there. I figured like this, bro. If you could move some shit 10,000 units, 20,000 units, that means something.
Oh, of course.
You know what I'm saying? And that means now, hit the gas and keep going. So I was just kind of going off of that R&D and off of that, and just kind of hitting the numbers.
Numbers don't lie.
It's all about numbers.
Yeah.
We hit a certain, it's like repetition. You know what I'm saying? If you hit a certain number, something's gonna happen. And so, we came again. My homeboy, he believes in me, all the way through until this day. That's like one of my biggest supporters in this shit. But he's not physically always there around, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't even get involved in it in any fucking way, you know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm all by myself in that way, you know what I'm saying? But he's always backed me up. That's what I want to say. So shout out to him. That's my motherfucking brother. Again, this is my brother from, when I'm telling the locksmith.
Absolutely, yeah. Way back in the day.
Way back in the day, bro.
Yeah.
So,
funny how life always does come full circle, though.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
100%. This life is, you share those experiences with people.
Yep.
And they hold those experiences. That's it. You can't take that back, change that, or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so you run into them, and you both have that pure heart. You know what I'm saying? It just grows and grows.
I agree.
So we decided to open up a manufacturing and distribution. And with that would, now I have the Lucky 13 Go Local brand. This is like 2020. going towards end of 2020. I started in 2020 during the COVID, and then now it's like end of 2020, 21. We applied for the licenses, and we got a manufacturing distribution that was going to go with the cultivation that we have now. That was the plan, and that still is the plan. You know what I'm saying? And that, it's all going to come together 100%. And so we did that shit. That shit took me like about a year and some change. During that time, this is like 2021 now we're talking about. And a lot of people had their licenses, like for the first year, they just got real big licenses. This is, because now let's back up, right? So like 2017, 18, they passed the licenses. All these black market dudes now are converting into this shit. And so now 2021 is like where a lot of people got early activation. This is what the program was called, where you could cultivate without having metric involved.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's like you can't. You have to have the whole process before you could even cultivate.
Yeah.
This early activation. This shit fucked up the whole industry, bro, because there's so much fucking millions and millions of like 10,000s and millions. I'm saying millions, like 10,000, probably thousands pound was grown at that time.
Yeah.
And flooded the industry and fucked it up.
Damn.
Of bad weed.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was trying to grow their full license. So in 2021, I had an opportunity to do some, you know, like every movie you hear, right? Like The Last Deal, you know what I'm saying? I said, fuck it, let me just flip this, you know, a couple thousand or some shit, and you know what I'm saying? And do some shit. Anyways, I don't want to get into the whole shit. You know, I ended up taking a huge loss, a big loss, but at that time, you know, it was my licenses we were still building, the manufacturing and distribution. And so I got back into, you know, really focused with this shit. I said, fuck this shit. You know, I gotta fucking focus on the vision. You know, took a real quick left turn, fucked the shit up, fucked, you know, a lot of shit up, fell back.
It happens.
You know what I'm saying? A little bit and came back. And then, and when I came back, I started focusing on just manufacturing and trying to get into the shops.
Okay.
And so, when I started getting into the shops, I kept on having issues because, like, my product has always been, like, overly packaged. That's, like, just, you know, just this amazing, like, product that automatically just costs a lot more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, I was having a resistance. And at the time, it was the brands that I had created, the Chupacabra, the Stardust, Lovelies. Lovelies I still have now. I'm relaunching that into something else.
Okay.
And then Go Loco and Lucky 13. With the Go Loco and Lucky 13, I had the blunt, and I had the I don't have it over here, but actually, what am I saying? It's right here. This one is the Purito, and this one is the Cubano.
Beautiful.
So this is the first one we made right here, the Purito. The Lucky 13 Purito.
And this was the cap you were talking about. You put it on to put it out. That shit's fucking dope.
Right, so look, it's a gold cap. You could take that shit out and then cap that shit. It's metal, ain't plastic. That's a real cigar band. And then the spiral twist roll.
That's fucking
With
dope.
the tip and everything. So we made this one, and you know, we used I'm not even gonna lie. This was they Loaded at first. You know, they had used this. This is where I had seen this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I kind of got the idea. But theirs is completely different. Theirs is like a glass tuck in, like roll and everything, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, we made this shit, and then this right here. So I had the blunt, this, and the Chupacabra, Stardust, and the fucking Lovelies. And so I was having a hard time getting into the market, bro. It took me a year.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't make any money.
Yeah.
And later we made this one. I didn't make any money. So for a year, I didn't like...
So you went away from the cap, or it's just a different one?
I just haven't put it,
Put it back
on this one, but I have a
Okay.
cap on all of them.
This one seems a little bit fatter than that one.
It is. That's the Cubano, and that's the Purito.
Okay,
And
cool.
there's the sizes, and throughout the whole branding, like everything is like that. It's a Cubano Purito sizes.
I like that. I like
You know what I'm
that.
saying? And I kind of followed that, and I saw
So now how much is in this one and how much is in the other one?
2.5 gram in this one, and just flour, and then 1.5 in this one.
And it's infused, or any of them infused?
No, this is the classics.
These are just flour?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is just flour with the real cigar band and shit. And then from there, I did the pink champagne line.
Okay.
And then Purito Cubano again, and I diamond infused it.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and then I thought it'd be cool to do the whole pink, you know, paper and everything.
Yep, yep.
And so then after that, I went to Colombia and came back on again with my homeboy from New York, my homeboy Chris that I was
Okay.
telling you. He now he's doing real big things. Shout out to bro, Booking King.
He's doing stuff out in Colombia too.
Now he does a lot of international booking. Like he's really like one of those people that's been around from the beginning of reggaeton and booked a lot of artists, managed a lot of artists, like Grammy winning artists now. But he had in the beginning he put me on to Bad Bunny, and that's how I first met him. And we did some shows with him and stuff like that. And so, anyways, around 2022.
Keep going. I have something I want to mention, but go ahead. Keep going. 2022.
2022, I went to Colombia, and I came back and did the Tusi.
Okay. Got that
Over
Tusi?
there, yeah, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, I spelled it a little bit different, and everybody was really talking about that and, like, the whole concept, pink and this and that, and I thought it'd be pretty cool. And so I thought it'd be cool to name it Tusi.
Dope.
And so that's how Tusi came, and with the pink paper again, you know what I'm saying? And
Which one has the pink paper?
this one, this is the hash hole. Well, let me show you all of them, bro.
Yeah, why not? Take them all out. Show them to the camera. Talk to me nice.
Oh, yeah, we got the camera right here. I forgot about the camera. So this is,
That's the best kind of interview.
this is the pink champagne. Sorry, Tusi with the pink paper hash hole.
Beautiful. Look at that. You can really see that it's pink there.
And this one right here. Is the pink champagne. This has micro diamonds in it.
Okay, yeah, fire. And now that special rolling machine, it makes the ends like that too, or is
No,
that
we do that by hand.
Okay, very nice.
That's kind of like the evolving.
Check that out.
The evolving, you know what I'm saying, part of this shit. I mean, that's common. People do that. That's not really a big thing.
No, it's cool though. It makes it look nice.
Yeah,
Makes it
no,
look
of course.
luxurious.
It's just a lot of work, and if you see the way it has like a wick,
Yup.
you know what I'm saying. So
Like a parliament
Yeah,
almost.
it burns really. The cherry burns really easy. It burns really good like that.
And you can tell right in the middle. That's exactly where the hash is, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
This is the
Oh, this
pink
is not a hash
champagne.
hole.
This is a micro,
Okay.
the micro. But when you light it up, this thing burns like that, and then it just falls off like a cap, because that part doesn't burn. This is like the part that burns, and it just releases.
That's dope.
It's a really cool, look when you're burning it, and like you know how to, so you're not burning it like you're lighting up like a cigarette, because a lot of people try to, light their joints like that too. You gotta burn the shit nice, you know what I'm saying?
Nice
Get
and
the
even,
cherry
so you get 'em-
going,
Yup.
especially with the hash, so you can't smoke no other way.
Oh no.
But
No way.
yeah. So when you burn it like that, that tip falls off.
Beautiful.
It looks pretty cool.
Beautiful.
So so when I did this shit, so I did like different sizes with this, but I felt like we needed something that was like more affordable
And also, if you're by yourself, that's like crazy.
That is
Something
crazy.
like this is not too bad. You know?
that is crazy. So that's one of the things that's really important in the market too, of the shifts that are happening.
Yeah.
And so now the market is shifting more towards like personals. And
People
packs.
smoking, by
Yeah,
themselves and
this
shit.
becomes more like you with homeboys and shit, and you
Passing it around the circle.
yeah, and that's not a seller like that. That's like
Gotcha.
once in a while seller. You
Of
want
course.
that.
Special occasions.
Yeah, you want that when people go in, they have their fix, their go-to. You want that product.
Yeah.
You want your product to be like that.
Yep.
And so we made this shit.
Okay.
This
Oh,
is
nice
the
wood tips.
this is the '60s, affordable. You know what I'm saying? Good. This is we put mixed light
Okay.
into that, and that's the mixed light that my pops grows.
Up over there.
The house that I was telling you about, the license.
Yep,
I still
yep.
got that house.
Beautiful,
You know what I
beautiful.
mean? And so he grows this. Pops has been growing for like 5-6 years almost, man, and he's a very good grower now.
Is he loving it?
He loves
He's
it.
having a good job.
He
He got a good
fucking
time.
loves it.
Good, good.
So this is the hashish donut,
Okay.
and so I'm thinking about really downsizing some of them, and I want to kind of eliminate the bigger ones. At least not make it for a while, you know what I'm saying, until the market really starts
Comparison
picking
in
up.
size, still a little bit smaller, but this is still like a nice fucking
It's a
joint.
1.4 with a 0.3 rosin.
Okay. It smells great.
Bro, that weed up north, the reason why I called my brand my manufacturing distribution Black Swan is because when we were doing the manufacturing, the idea that constantly came to me, or the thought that constantly came to me, is how that place, the Northern Cali, that whole area, I think like 60-something% of the canopy grows licenses are up there
Really?
in that Emerald Triangle.
Okay.
Yeah. Humboldt County, Mendocino, that whole area.
Yeah.
Like 60-something% of the canopy by size.
Wow.
Because if you add, you know, if you add them all kind of like together, they're smaller here. Over there, they're acres and acres and acres, and so that's like one of where they have like the biggest canopy grow, and so I had the vision that that is gonna dominate the market, because what's happening now is like indoor is not efficient to grow in a way. I mean, they're getting better now with LEDs and
Yeah.
all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of bringing costs down, but I'm sure a lot has changed now, you know what I'm saying? But still leaves a huge environmental footprint
Of course.
versus when you grow it kind of like indoor in its natural
Yeah.
form, you know, I mean,
yep.
outdoor in its natural form. And so, and also anything that's kissed by the sun, nothing could match.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that is
that
the most
natural
important
light.
natural light, bro.
Absolutely.
And so the weed that comes out of there, bro, is absolutely fucking amazing, bro. And like full of terp. Like most of the shit that's being washed now into live rosin, that's where they grow it. All these like
Up
badass
north, yeah.
like strains and shit, that's where they grow. And a lot of people don't know that, but now I think it's more people know now. But a lot of that shit is not indoor weed
Yeah.
when they wash it.
Oh,
All
yeah.
that good shit,
Yeah.
like that bomb shit. I'm talking like big brands, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't want to name drop anybody or anything like that, but a lot of big brands, they use that, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Because they grow it in a way where they're just washing it. And so the flavor that produces
Some
and the
good
weed
shit.
that produces, amazing.
Yeah.
You know, there's been this misconception, and people have been kind of like really going at it like head to head. You know what I'm saying? Like bumping heads over, which is the indoor or it's outdoor.
Yeah.
But the outdoor has.
And I think
evolved
all
so
that
much.
comes down to really is nug structure. People are always like, I want it to look like this.
No,
I want
it's
it
not
to look
even nug
like
structure
that.
anymore.
Blah, blah, blah. But that's what it was in New York a lot. Like, if it didn't look a certain way, they're like, that's outdoor. Don't want it. I'm like, okay.
That was kind of like one of the things where people look, but what I think really is that it's evolved. The people up there, from what they were growing, from what I remember, they would grow like outdoors. Now it's gotten so much more complicating, sophisticated. You know what I'm saying? The way they grow,
Yeah.
the greenhouses that are made with the climate control and all that. But the thing about that area is that, number one, is like studies have been done on it. Then that place right there, that area, Mendocino, which is, to be more precise about it, is northern Mendocino and southern Humboldt, right by the coast. That whole area
Yeah.
is the number one, the best place to grow weed. From what they could really do some actual like studies, is places where it's legal. So there's some places that it's illegal and they can't really actually
Yeah.
do an exact study. But
Of
that
course.
area, particularly, even
For like
from
the soil and everything, stuff
even
like
from
that.
yeah, even from South America, is because it has the perfect weather. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason why it's in that area is because more in Humboldt, it's more wet, it's more humid.
Yeah.
And so that causes issues. And a little bit more south towards Ukiah and more down, it's more hotter. You know what I'm saying? But that area has like the perfect climate,
A little bit of both.
like
Yeah.
Napa Valley. You know the reason why Napa Valley is Napa Valley? It's crazy because when you go over there to the wine tasting, you get a tour, they'll tell you the history of it.
I've never been.
The
I gotta go check it
area-
out.
The area, the way it's made, it's in a valley, and when the ocean, the breeze, and then that air comes from the ocean, which is the most perfect weather.
Yeah.
It goes through these mountains, and so it cleans out all of the humid or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then when it comes over there, there's this valley, and in the middle of it, there's a hill. That just the way it goes,
Yeah.
is like the perfect, like ideal, weather like that could possibly be.
Yeah.
And so all these like brands and companies and everything came and bought soil from different places and grow wine there. I mean,
Okay.
grow grapes there and
Yep,
make
for the wine, yeah.
Yeah, the vineyards. And so Mendocino and that area that I'm telling you is that most perfect in the world.
It's
You know what I'm
ideal
saying?
growing situation, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And anything you grow there, bro, comes out so fucking amazing, bro. Like you have to actually go there and really see it. You see depth here now, but you don't know if it's real depth from there or it's like from Central Cali where it is. I mean, they grow good weed in a lot of places. This
Yeah.
is not the thing. But
Of course.
the way it grows there and the natural setting and the terps and everything that builds up is I don't think you could compare that to anything.
I'm definitely have to go check it out then for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'll take you one day, bro.
I'm down.
You know, I still have all those my houses and everything over there, and I know a lot of people over there, so we could definitely go up there.
Sounds good.
Gus hasn't came over there. I think he did. You come? You haven't came, right? No. He hasn't.
We gotta take a trip.
Gus never came, but it's a fucking amazing. So I lost a little bit of my chain of thought. So anyways, that's the place you grow the best, right? So in Humble, they have the fucking redwood trees. And these redwood trees are like 2,300, 2,400 years old. This is like before Christ we're talking about.
BC.
These are the biggest living organisms in the world. I think it's there, the Sequoia area right there, and then it's in China. It's the only place that grows the largest living organisms of the world. And they're that old.
And I've still never seen that. Like, that must be a spectacle in itself to see trees
crazy.
that big. Yeah.
It's amazing, but you gotta go check it out. They say Bigfoot was up there too and shit.
I believe it.
That's where the whole Bigfoot thing comes from. There's a whole bunch of places there that they have like these Bigfoot
The chupacabra.
The chupacabra too. The chupacabra and the Bigfoot, they've seen it up there, and there's like all kinds of shops and shit like that still kind of make money off of that, you know. But the reason why I say that is if those trees grow there, it's like imagine how weed grows there.
Oh yeah, the soil and the environment must be.
Yeah, and even when all this shit becomes federal, legal, and all that shit, and everyone starts growing weed everywhere in Montana and all these places. By the way, those places are still not good because the climate, it gets really cold.
Yeah,
it snows and stuff.
It'll probably be a lot of indoor grows in those places.
But when I say in the nation, like I think even Canada they can because it gets really cold. It's always cold most of the time, and then if you get more South America, it's humid.
Yeah.
So the best place is that place.
Yeah. Makes sense why it started out here. You know, it just everything makes sense.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Started in Santa Cruz, the first law. But the culture had already existed before that.
Absolutely. Put these back up here for you. Make them look decent. All right. Yeah. Is that how it went? Figure it out.
I think this one is over here.
Boom. Okay.
And that one is right there.
Beautiful. And these two are here.
Those ones, yeah. There you go.
Beautiful.
So that's one of the reasons why I got my the property there. You know what I mean? To do that.
Absolutely.
It's like cultivation because I feel like at the end of the day, when that happens, there's still always gonna be Emerald Triangle weed, California weed, just like Napa wine. You know what I'm saying? So, whenever these companies, start buying licenses and shit, because technically now the way the California laws are made, they gave it to us in phases, and they allowed that ecosystem to get involved and have the chance at becoming legal and becoming brands, and most of them fell off. You know what I'm saying?
Quick question for you too, though. So you said you still have it kind of in motion. Are you going to have it where people can come and do like the tastings and stuff like that?
Yes.
See, now I think that's super smart because now that it is going to be going more national, I think more people are going to be okay to say, hey, I smoke weed.
Oh, that's already happening.
Now that's what I'm saying. So their job's not going to frown upon it. So now I think that's a
happening.
great market to get into because now people will come to the best place to smoke weed where they can get the best weed and it can be an experience for them.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you could definitely get like a really chill vibe off of it too in a way if you look at it, right? You could do like hospitality where people come and stay over there. You know what I'm saying?
That could be really cool. Yeah, absolutely.
That's part of the plan.
Bread and breakfast type shit.
That's actually part of the plan with
Okay.
this place that I have. I want to do like geometric domes on the hills because there's like 4 hills, and right in the middle is the flat area, and then the house is like right in front of it. It's a huge ranch for like 60 acres.
Beautiful.
Actually, 60 acres exactly. So that's what the build out, to that is gonna be, and that's why I thought that would be like an amazing place.
I think that'd be great. Especially like you said, I didn't know that was like a thing where that's just the perfect environment for weed to grow. So you'll always get that best product. So
that's why I decided to kind of put that. And actually, bro, if you put that in the 60s, and actually if you really just give weed to people, like just good grown weed, not anything you can just get up from there. You know what I'm saying? Because shitty growers are still shitty growers.
thing, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And like the people that are really passionate about it, they grow some really good weed. Like one of them, my pops.
God bless. Shout out to Pops.
Yeah, 100%. He's one of those people that, influenced my life big time. And he's like my biggest supporter.
God bless. I
Till
love
this
to hear
day,
that.
You know, he's over there. He left everything here, and went up there, and he's living there with my dogs. You know what I'm saying? Now, actually, they're his dogs now.
Yeah.
To be exact. Because
That's his family.
He's watched them more than I have. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He literally raised them. But yeah, he grows some really good weed, man. And I think that weed, like if you give it to people, they can't tell the difference.
Don't know.
And like they'll know the difference too, or if they might tell the difference, but they'll love it.
It's good weed.
And then they won't, say, fuck this.
Of course.
And I realized that majority of people are like that. It's really good weed, and then once they have that misconception, kind of like out of their head.
I've never looked at it like indoor, outdoor. If it was good, it smelled good, looked good, I'll take it.
No, but for real shit though, you always think about that though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like don't get me wrong, indoor weed is good weed.
Yeah.
You know what
But
I'm
where
saying?
I'm from, bro, I didn't really have the option growing up. They were like, here's weed. You like it?
Yeah.
All right, take it. Cool.
Some brick weed and shit.
Whatever it was, like we didn't
But
have
how old are
indica
you?
sativa. I just turned 30.
No, then I'm talking like more about my age because I'm 40, bro, and so I'm more like thinking of it in mine.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
I think yeah, there's some really really good options now, But the indoor,
yeah.
anyways, indoor is a really good kind of good weed comes out of it. But again, to me, honestly, if I smoke, I'll smoke indoor. You know what I'm saying? And like if I smoke a mixed light or something, it has to be like fresh.
Yeah.
Like real super fresh, like right off of harvest. You know what I'm saying? Like once you cure it, after that, I love it, and then afterwards, I don't really like it too much. You know what I'm saying? Like doesn't smoke the same. But really good one like that, I'll fucking smoke over some fucking indoor.
Absolutely.
That's just fucking fire.
Yeah, I agree. But shit, is there anything else that you want to shine a light on when it comes to your brand or just maybe the cannabis industry in general?
Man, there's a lot.
I'm sure. We're going to have
There's a
you on
lot.
another episode as well, Seems like you have a lot of wisdom.
Oh man, I've been through a lot of shit.
I see that.
Definitely impacted I'm the type of person, bro, like I don't take shit and be like, oh, it came, why did this happen? Why did, this, that? And like I look at it like, from in to out, you know what I'm saying? Like that's me.
Yeah.
Whatever it was for me. I
Yeah.
gotta figure this out. I gotta, you know what I'm saying, like make it better. And
Got to learn from it.
Yeah, 100%. And that's always kind of like been my kind of mentality to it. You know what I'm saying? And it's always worked the best for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all allowed me to, even through hard time, to build character and then kind of go through that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so,
Oh, shit, I do have another question, actually. So now that we are in 2024, a lot has gone on with AI. Do you think AI is going to affect the future of the cannabis industry? And if so, like, how do you think it will?
less workers.
Less workers?
Mhm.
Okay.
I
So you
think
think costs will go down?
I'm pretty sure if they monetize it. I mean, if they automize it, right?
Okay.
But I mean, think about it. Like that robot that Elon got, right? Like he could pick the shit.
Sit there, trim it for you, do
Trim,
all that
like,
shit.
think
Yeah.
about that shit,
That's
right?
true. And you get a
So-
bunch of those?
So I think that's how it probably impacted, where they don't need no workers there.
Interesting.
Robots will make the formula, you know what I'm saying, and the shit gets.
And the best part about them
Sprayed.
is those motherfuckers don't need to smoke, so they're not gonna be like, "Hey, can I get some weed?"
They won't
You know?
complain about nothing.
Nope,
They
nope.
just turn them on and they'll work for like,
There you go.
for, you know what I'm saying, for hours and hours. So I think that definitely. I mean, if you think about it, right? Like imagine the plant.
So you think
being-
things are just gonna get streamlined? It's gonna get cheaper. It's gonna get better because of AI.
I don't know, man. There's so much. I don't think AI is gonna influence it that much. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe the people involved in it, as far as labor goes, it might influence it. But there's still gonna be people behind the scenes
Of course,
controlling.
there's got to be
you know what
some
I'm
sort
saying?
of quality control. Yeah, yeah,
100%,
yeah,
100%. A robot can't do.
It's-
I don't think all that shit.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No,
But-
I agree.
But
I
think
agree.
about it. That'd be crazy if you had robots just picking the shit. If they have to water it, they need to anyway physically monitor it and then cut it, trim it.
Yeah, do everything.
Yeah, the
Like,
only thing the humans could probably
Sell
do
it.
is just selling it, and, you know what I'm saying, and buying it, smoking it, and
yeah,
maybe handling the shipping and all that part.
yep.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be fucking wild.
I wonder if but at the same time, I think that there is a lot of like scientific shit behind it going on too, like
Oh yeah,
DNA, gene modification. You know what I'm saying, like on all these things. I think there is I think that that's gonna be a really big thing.
I agree. And obviously, you produce these for yourself. Is there anyone else that you produce pre-rolls for?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I've worked with, and
Any artists in the?
yeah, a few of them,
All
a
right,
few
cool,
of them. But we did collaboration with Cubby. Shout out to Cubby Supreme. Um, but like I said, everything in this game is about learning.
Yeah.
And so I started in the beginning to now, I've gotten so much better and understand how everything is working, and I'm really just moving towards that now
Okay.
at a very fast pace. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand what it is. And so the times that I did collaborations, we did it like it didn't come out how it wanted. You know what I'm saying? But I did a lot of them, bro.
Okay.
I'll tell you like this: when I started, I had a couple of ego goals, you would say. You know what I'm saying? Where it's more like an ego thing. Where it ain't really that much nothing, but it means something to you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that was with like doing collaborations with a couple of artists that I've always been like influenced by, and some I haven't really got to it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what I realized, bro, is like to respect to everybody's brand and working with everybody and everything. You know what I'm saying? Is like the most important thing is to really focus on where you want to be in the market. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then see where the money is gonna come
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
and just really focus on that. Like everything else, collaborations and all that is cool.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to focus on your brand.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like that has to be the first priority. And so collaborations are pretty cool, man. I'd love to work with a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Is there someone like that's popular right now in specific that you've been working with, or you don't want to drop any names?
Yeah, we did a lot of shit, bro. We did I did some shit with Lefty Gunplay.
That's what I was waiting for. I was like, a little birdie told me that you were working with someone that
yeah,
people may know.
Honestly, bro, I've never really been the type to really kind of put that forward or whatever.
I hear you.
Like,
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? Like
How did that come about though? Like, how did did his team contact you and say they wanted to like?
I got a
something?
homeboy that he's really connected with a lot of them. Killer Kush, shout out to Killer Kush.
Okay.
The homies over there. It's more his idea, his vision. I just kind of perfected it to the point where like his imagination came to life.
Bringing it to life, yeah.
Yeah, like 10 times better than he
Could have
thought of it, 'cause,
imagined. Yeah.
We both put our kind of mind to it, and so we did a collaboration together with Lefty. We have a current one right now going out with King Lil G. Shout out to King Lil G. Bro, there's a lot of shit that you know what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of artists I'd love to kind of work with if I could figure out something that would make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, it has to make sense.
Yeah, because
Yep.
at the end of the day, I feel like that really goes together. You know what I'm saying, with the culture.
Oh, for sure.
And
Cannabis and music, I feel like will always be tied together, whether we like it or not. So
Yeah,
you might as well
100%.
find a way to bring it together.
100%, bro. And I don't know. There's a in the industry, I feel like the most important thing really is how you kind of set your business. You know what I'm saying, and the products that you make and your vision
Yep.
into it. You know what I'm saying, and everybody else. I mean, they'll give you like maybe a little bit of help in some way, but it's ultimately you.
Yeah.
Just that consistency, just moving forward, because unless you partner up with someone like Equity or some shit like that with something, it's just really a collaboration.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so, I think the most important thing is how you treat your business.
I agree.
And then people want to work with you.
Yeah.
They see that, and like they want to work with you, and I feel like that way you always have better terms.
I agree.
Whenever
Good
you're
business,
like, yeah.
word of mouth. That's always I feel
'Cause
like
one
the best.
thing, in no way I'm not putting no artists down or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like shout out to all of them. But I think one thing is like there's so many people offering them money just for shout out. They'll take it from anybody.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
They'll take it from anybody. You know what I'm saying? And do the whatever, that promo or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like
You got to stand behind.
it's different when people like your brand.
Yeah.
And they want to fuck with you because they like you.
Because of that, yeah, exactly.
You know
Not
what I'm
because
saying?
they
And
do
then,
some promo and
they
that kind of
genuinely
shit.
like the shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this is what I would fuck with.
I agree.
And so that just kind of makes me, like, it puts a battery on my back to go harder and
Absolutely.
make everything even better, you know what I'm saying?
And hey, you got a quality product here. Hash holes are great. Pre-rolls are great,
Have you smoked the mini hash rolls?
I believe I did at the event. I think I had one. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some shit.
But
for
if
you
not, I'm
smoke.
gonna have to try
And
one for
the
sure.
one with the King G that I was telling you is this one.
Okay.
So this one has a number on it. It's like they're all numbered, and then but if you open it, it's like it has a seal. It'll break.
Okay.
But it has a number. They're like 1 to 300, and that's the batch that we made.
Fire.
You know what I'm
This
saying?
is number
And,
234.
each batch is that much.
Okay.
It's not like mass made or some shit like it's kind of like the quality of it. You know what I'm saying?
It's controlled. Yep.
Yeah.
I fuck with that. That's dope.
So we just.
And where can we
some-
buy your products? Like, where can you find them?
There's a few shops. Killer Kush. Look
Okay.
him up.
Where's that at?
He has a few shops all around LA.
Around LA. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
you can look him up on IG and you can find out where he's at. And the Killer Kush, I think it's Killer Kush _420. Shout out to the homies over there.
Okay.
And you can see where you could get it, from. But I mean, if the product, it sells, and kind of people really put the effort into it,
Yeah.
it could blow up and get really big.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
And now, is that only this product that they can find in the store, Killer Kush? What about like Lucky 13 and the
Yeah,
other stuff?
you could
Find them all there?
Yeah.
Okay,
A lot
beautiful.
of my stuff over there you could find too.
Beautiful, beautiful.
But yeah, I do a lot of the manufacturing for. I mean, I did a lot of manufacturing for a few people here and there, and but mostly I've been just really focused. What I realized is your brand.
Yeah.
Fuck with your shit.
Of course.
It's a time.
Yeah.
It's like energy. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Where you put it is the most important thing. So I put more priority to that.
Beautiful.
But I mean, I'd love to expand the products. You know what I'm saying? That's the next goal.
Okay. So right now you're just focused on pre-rolls, but what do you think the future looks like for you? Maybe 5 years down the line.
I think more automation.
Oh, and we haven't even talked about this.
That's something
what is this?
So this is a Delta 9.
Okay.
It's a Delta 9 drink. It's kind of like that tequila vibe. It has a little bit of that taste,
Okay.
but it's no alcohol, no nothing. It's just pure Delta 9.
Oh, so this will get you high?
Yeah, that will get you high.
Okay, okay.
Like 4 or 5 shots, you'd be good.
Oh, shit.
You'd be
Okay.
straight with that shit.
Fire.
And the cool thing about it is like hemp derived. So you get high and you don't get higher. You just kind of stick to that level and it just goes longer.
Gotcha.
So you get to party.
So
and
there's
shit,
no blacking out or anything
Yeah,
on
so
this
you
shit?
get to like party and shit. And so I
Okay.
thought like to be like a tequila vibe would be
That's
dope.
dope.
And so we
That's
got
dope.
into that, and
I'm about to try
Let's
that.
push
Bring
it.
that to a party one day, Turn up the
We'll-
vibe a
we'll
little bit
push it.
different.
yeah,
Okay.
for sure, bro. I think you'll like it. Actually, I'll leave you that one.
Sounds good, yeah.
Fuck with that shit. That shit's really good.
I'll give it a try for sure. And I'll give you an honest review. Honest
For
review.
sure.
Hell yeah.
For sure. And then yeah, let's see, bro. I mean, I want to do some vapes and shit. I've been really looking to do something really amazing.
I think honestly, yeah, vapes are huge right now. I just feel like it makes it easier for people. There's less smell. You could do it wherever. I don't know. To me, I just feel like a lot of people got introduced to the weed game through vapes because it's just easy. It's too convenient.
That's like newer generation.
Newer generation shit.
Yeah, that's
Not
like
me.
2
Like I look
years.
at it and I'm like, damn, I can't
That's
get
like
on the
2
wave. I
years.
fuck with them, but like as
That's
far as
like-
it goes, I'm always gonna love my traditional flower and shit like that. So
Yeah, that's like new shit.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't understand it, and so, they actually when they learn about it, they're like, damn.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They don't want to smoke that, and
it's true.
they want to get into some real,
Real shit.
more healthier, organic.
I agree.
You
At
know
the
what
end
I'm
of the day,
saying?
you're still vaping. So like, yeah.
That's one of the things too. As more like people are coming into the industry, they're learning more what's what, and then they're making their choices. It's kind of like food, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you now want to eat, you want to eat like organic shit, and you're looking at everything, and so that's kind of like with weed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why we've been really just kind of trying to transition to a more organic versus like the diamonds and like it's cool to have the line, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not really connected to it like that. And
I hear you.
If it has to the name and all that, yes, you know what I'm saying? But everything else could really change.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
That's
you just
for
have
sure.
to be kind of ready for what you what you need to do.
Yeah.
And not get kind of scared to pull the trigger and you know what I'm saying?
Trial and error. You got to
100%.
learn from it.
Sometimes you got to do some kamikaze shit too, like starts from scratch type,
Yup.
or like get rid of some shit.
And you never know until you try. So you got to do it.
I call this shit like making music. It's like you're making you're making a record, right? And how music is like you're doing in the studio, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not an artist, so not me, but
I'm an
just
artist,
like
I
I've been
get it.
around, so I've
I
seen
get
it
it.
a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one knows, is it going to be a hit? Is what it is? This is a hit, this
Yeah.
is the shit, and, you know,
Yeah.
and then you find out, you know, what it
Yeah.
is. And if it blows up, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And everybody's consuming the music, right? So I think these products and these brands are kind of like the same thing. If you have the right formula.
And all
you
it
know what I'm
takes
saying?
also is that belief. If you're like, yo, I got this shit, you know, then you do.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think part of that belief is really knowing
Preparation.
when you know you need to change something, you know, because I feel like your habits make you who you are.
That's
you know
for
what I'm saying?
sure.
It's like your whole character is your habits.
Yep.
And there's a saying that says the illiterates of the 21st century are not those that can't read or write, but those that can learn, unlearn, and relearn. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's literally the illiterates of
It's
the
true.
21st century. You know what I'm saying?
This is
Because
true.
I mean, you have everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to read or none of that shit, right? But you know, if you can't do those things, learn, unlearn. You know what I'm saying? Relearn.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna work.
Don't.
You know what I'm saying? If
Because
you
if you
could
get
do
stuck
that,
in set in your ways and those aren't the best ways, that's not good
100%,
for you
you
either.
could do that, it's over, bro.
I agree. I think that's great. Well,
So-
shit, man. I think we covered a bunch on this podcast today. So where can people find you on social media?
Go Loco 13
Okay.
on Instagram.
Instagram.
And then with Lucky 13 spelled out .LA. And then Black Swan is kind of like the manufacturing that
Okay.
do.
And you said you're about to go super hard, like 2025, more content wise. You know, you're about to push a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought to myself, I want to, start making more content and really kind of put myself out there. Because at the end of the day, when you look at these algorithms and shit, too, it's like, if you really understand what's really happening at that time. You know what I'm saying? And you could kind of make content towards that.
I agree.
Shit blows the fuck up.
And you could just make it authentic to you. You know, I know there's a lot of content that goes around.
Well,
but
yeah, that's kind of the thing. You know, it went from like making like dumb content, like, stupid shit, and now it's more like towards the educational shit. And you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And so you just have to really kind of figure that shit out.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I said, fuck it, I'm gonna start doing this shit. So let's see.
Yep.
Let's see how it happens.
And are you on Weed Maps at all?
I am. Weed Map, same thing. Lucky 13, Go Loco.
Okay, dope.
And it'll tell you every store that we're in and all the products and shit. And we're really just pushing.
Beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? But I think the most important thing is the product is good and people fuck with it.
I agree.
And we're still looking to, make it better and better and better. So
Always improving. And you know what? You guys really do have a great quality product. So go shop with them. Weed Maps. Find them in Killa Kush dispensaries all over LA. Tap in with your boy right here on the Instagram. But definitely try the product. Best in the game. Mini blunts, hash holes, blunts, anything. Anything you need, this is your guy right here.
for sure.
We appreciate you coming out, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave.